Welcome back to another wonderful property tour, Rankin family. Today, we are back again in Nashville, Tennessee, looking at another gorgeous luxury home. And I want to give a huge thank you to the listing agents, Franklin and Lana Pargh with the Pargh team for making this tour possible. I'll be sure to leave all of the information in the description below. Now, starting on the exterior, family, you see that we have the massive high-pitched roofs. Now, as far as material is concerned, you are going to have the stucco along with the natural stone surrounding the lower exterior. This property is situated on just under an acre. Of course, right ahead, there is a courtyard. And look at this. It is elevated. So this would be your view. A ton of room in the front yard, and then you'll see your backyard retreat. You definitely do not want to miss that a little bit later on. Now you have a long driveway, you have 2 additional parking spaces right here, and you will have a 4-car side loaded garage. Now you have the outdoor gas lanterns as well, and look at this. You can certainly entertain out here, no challenges whatsoever. Now I want to tell you, or at least preface this by saying this is an entertainer's dream. And quite frankly, I feel like that term is thrown around quite a bit in the real estate industry. But once we get inside here and continue our full tour, I think it'll come full circle. Now you do have the cover front porch. The stucco continues this way. And I want to also say they are doing some final touch-ups, but I had to get you in here as soon as possible. Okay, so this is immediately when you walk in. Of course, you got your foyer here, and I'll turn you around so you can see the double front door from the inside. Now you are going to have the white oak ceiling right there, beautiful modern chandelier. And then let's go ahead and continue. Now let's go ahead and make our way around the perimeter of the home. First thing is, this is our powder bath. Beautiful pendant light here. You got your floating vanity, wallpaper surrounding. You got massive baseboards. Then you have the swivel mirror right over there as well. So first time I've seen that in a powder bath. But so far, so good. Now this is going to be our first bedroom, perfect guest suite. As you can see, extremely spacious. You got a queen bed, nightstands right there. You got your massive chair, vaulted ceiling, exposed beams, gorgeous chandelier, and tall windows. And I really want you to pay attention to a lot of the materials, especially once we start heading to the great room and the kitchen, because they left no stone unturned. Now, as far as the designer is concerned, on this particular one, it was Pfeffer Tudor, and I'll leave their information in the description so you can see or check out their portfolio. In the meantime, now heading over here into our ensuite. Look at this. Extremely spacious. You got your modern pendant lights hanging down. This is going to be your walk-in shower with the 0 threshold. And I'll paint it downward so you can see that. You got your gorgeous floor-to-ceiling shower surround, champagne bronze as far as the shower head is concerned. And then you have a shower wand, the champagne bronze shower valve, and a shower niche. Now, as I turn you around right over here, you got quartz countertops. You will notice this custom cabinet theme throughout the home. So very fluid, continuing throughout all the additional rooms. And of course, the connecting to our walk-in closet. But I love how airy and roomy it feels. I mean, especially with the vaulted ceilings. Not only are the dimensions perfect in here, but with the increased ceiling height, perfection. Now, before we continue, you got your coat closet right over here. You got your gold knobs. Love that addition. And let's get you inside of here. Oh my goodness. Very cozy and interactive at the same exact time. Now, taking a look right over here, you see that we have our built-ins. You have the reeded cabinet door, Arca-stone fireplace, as you can see, very cozy, but extremely warm at the same time. Then you have your massive sliders leading you out there. You have a pool and spa. We'll get to that a little bit later on. And then there's some additional spaces where you can entertain your guests without any challenges. But this is certainly the epitome of indoor-outdoor living. Of course, you can open those sliders up and have your guests inside and outside, depending on their personal preference. But extremely roomy and spacious. Love the formal dining tucked off right over there, but it's a perfect location without excluding folks from conversations, or, you know, if some folks are in the dining room and some folks are in the great room, you don't really have to worry about, you know, secluded conversations. All right, now heading inside of the kitchen, look at the massive Taj Mahal quartzite countertops. That's a massive slab that they added right there. But then also, and what we are noticing quite a bit now, and that is certainly the trend, is the extended backsplash. Look at that, and that's gonna head all the way to the ceiling right there. And then you can see the Arca-stone as far as the vent hood is concerned. Then you got your massive Wolf range. This is gonna be the 6-burner, and then you have your pot filler. And you know what I say about the pot filler. When it has a pot filler in the home, the rest of the home speaks for itself. So bravo on that. Okay, so one thing I know you certainly can appreciate, right, is the sink not in the island. Perfect location for the sink, overlooking your backyard retreat. Before we continue, let's go ahead and take a look at our drawers. You got the soft closing, then you got additional brass here, and that really complements this light oak cabinetry here. So it's gonna have the shaker style, and then look at these sconces on both sides of the range hood. Beautiful materials, as you can see. Then you're gonna have the pop out outlets right here. You just push it in right there and it pops right out. And that's gonna be all along the counters right over here. So you can hook up any appliances or anything that you need to. And again, like I mentioned, they are doing some final touches on this home, but I had to get you in here as soon as possible. Now, you will notice the stacked cabinetry as well. And then in here, you are gonna have your Sub-Zero panel ready refrigerator and freezer. You got your wine chiller right over here. Can store up to 104 bottles. But it's super sleek, and it's the inset style, the inset cabinetry. So real discreet, that minimal feel. And look at this. I'll open both of them at the same time so you can see. Massive. You will never have to worry about buying that 24 pack or 36 pack of Coke and Diet Coke and Sprite and all that stuff. You can fit all of that in there. Okay, before we continue, let's make sure we don't forget about our formal dining. Look how spacious it is. You see that we have a 6-seater dining table, but an 8-seater would fit in here comfortably without any challenges. You still even have a ton of walk room right over here. All right, so if you haven't let me know, please do let me know your thoughts so far in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, love to hear your feedback. Really means the world to us. And then look at that. Gorgeous light fixtures right above that. First time I've seen that particular style. Now, since it flows extremely well, let's go ahead and take a look at our scullery and then our coffee station right over here. So again, you have that pop-up outlet right over there. You have some additional refrigeration, as you can see over here. Got your ice maker, and then head into your scullery, which is right across. Look how massive this is. So they continued with the Taj Mahal quartzite counters, but then in here, of course, you got your secondary oven and your secondary refrigerator right here. So this is where you're going to spend a lot of your time, probably or most likely, prepping a lot of your meals, especially if your guests are coming over, right? If they're coming over here and you don't want to make a mess, then you can go ahead and use this, because this is a full secondary kitchen. You even have a dishwasher over here, some more cabinetry and storage available. And this is that sage green color. So really nice color palette inside of this home so far. Okay, so before we do continue, I'll make sure to show you the primary suite, but look at this sunroom here. Flooded with windows, your vaulted ceilings inside of here. And then you will notice that brick flooring. And so this will be the perfect place if you did want to entertain, right? If you have the sliders open over there in the great room, you have the sliders open up in here. And believe it or not, that's a motorized pergola right over there. So you can open and close that as you please, depending on the weather. You wanted some sun or some additional sun, you can head straight out there. And then I should mention too, this scullery has a pocket door. Okay, so now let's go ahead and continue our tour. Don't worry, I'll make sure we see our primary suite in just a second. We're gonna cover the entire first floor before we head to any other floor. Now, if you wanted to use this as a study, this is a perfect cozy study. But then of course, this is a flex room, right? So you can choose to do whatever you please with this one. If you did have the first room that we've seen as a guest suite, then this would be a perfect study right over here. You have an additional flex room upstairs. We'll see that a little bit later on in the tour as well. And then look at this. So you have a side access door right over here. This is going to lead you to your motor court, but then of course our drop zone or mud room. It looks like we got that shiplap material. You got your built-in bench, herringbone pattern. Add some nice character and the warmth as soon as you enter inside of here. And then this is your 4-car garage. And let me know what you think. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback as far as the glass door or for the garage door, right? So I know some folks love that. It adds that modern contemporary element to the home. You have a dog wash over there too. And like I said, they're finishing up or, you know, doing some minor touch-ups in here too. So certainly giving them grace. Okay, now before we head to any other level, let's go ahead and head to our primary suite. Now this one is gonna have the vaulted ceiling as well, but I think you may love the ceiling inside of here. And then I'll pan you upwards. You see the vaulted ceilings with the oak paneled ceiling. And that's gonna continue right there. So I'm telling you a lot of details in here that really just brings the home full circle. Now you're gonna have a quick access door leading you to your backyard, right? But then look at this. You have that reeded fireplace over here. Then you have the herringbone pattern in your firebox as well. Extremely roomy and spacious. Just for reference, that's a king size bed. You got massive nightstands. You got your dresser over here. White oak floors continues in here. Just all in a great home. Now heading straight over here, right? To the left, which we'll see, massive walk-in closet. Love our built-ins. Floor to ceiling, as you can see, you got a ton of drawers in here and additional shelving, perfect for any amount of shoes that you can imagine in here. You don't have to worry about fussing and fighting over who who is going to get what space. This will certainly accommodate any wardrobe, as I like to say. Now, you see where our stackable washer and dryer would go right over here. So of course, at this price point, that's what you would expect, and most likely that's certainly what you would want. But a ton of space to work with inside of here. And I certainly can appreciate, right? Not only do they have the chrome rods inside of here, but the additional space that you get on the very top. Because some of these homes that we've been in before, and of course I don't knock them because it's such a minor detail, but it is nice to have additional storage on the top for your wardrobe. Okay, so now you see that reeded cabinet door continues this way, and it's all the way from wall to wall right over here. You got your dual sinks, champagne bronze spout and faucet right over there. Gorgeous modern gold pendant lights. Got your gold mirror frame, massive freestanding tub right over here. And the champagne bronze continues this way, and then you have a large walk-in shower. The one thing I can appreciate about it is you do have dual shower heads. If you wanted to have that waterfall shower head as well, you can certainly add that down the road. But just the dual shower head itself, bravo. This one's gonna be the zero threshold as well. You got a ledge, as you can see. Of course, your water closet. So extremely beautiful. And you know, like I always say, a lot of times the video doesn't do it justice as much as you being here physically, you know, because of course you only really have, you know, a couple senses when you're watching it, right? Sight and, you know, hearing. But in here, you can, just even the smell, you know, they've done a great job of curating the scents. Okay, so let's go ahead and just show you downstairs first and foremost. So like I said earlier in the tour, entertainer's dream, right? But then not only that, this is a fitness enthusiast's dream. Because as you head down here, look at this. So of course you got your basement, right? So over here to the left is gonna be additional storage, right? Unfinished area right over here, as you can see, or possibly can't see. But you got a ton of storage over here, right? But as we continue, you have a full fitness studio, and we'll see that in just a second. And look at this. So this is a full bath, right? But if you are a gym junkie or a fitness junkie, you know, look at this. You have a cold plunge tub ready to go. Like I mentioned, they are doing some touch ups, so they're gonna have that all connected. Don't even worry about that. You have a full shower right over here. And a Sunlight and Amplify infrared sauna. Look at that. So you can go ahead and even if you're not, you know, a health junkie right now, I tell you, you move into one of here or one of these homes or have this inside of your home, you probably will. Just get you some P90X and you are good to go. But you already have your mirrors inside of here. So if you want to have some additional equipment inside of here, you can have your full dumbbell set. You can add a Stairmaster, sauna. I'm more of a Stairmaster kind of guy. And the sauna is the second, but really just depends on your personal preference. So I can appreciate that they added that inside of a spec home. And then look at this, perfect to entertain. So let's say you just got your workout done, you took a shower, and your guests are coming over. You bring them down here and you have a great time, just having a good time. Maybe you have that 75 or 85-inch TV over here, watching your favorite shows. You got a wet bar over here, built-in microwave. You could throw in some Orville Redenbacher, I think I pronounced it right, Orville Redenbacher popcorn inside of there, and have you a nice night. You got quartz countertops, floating shelves, beautiful decor, some additional counter space, and your flat panel cabinet doors over here. Okay. I love the massive hallways right over here. So separates you from the chaos upstairs and you can just head right back down here. All right. So we've seen the basement. We've seen the entire first level. Let's go ahead and take a look at our second level. Now you have 2 bedrooms down here, right? And then the additional 3 upstairs. And again, I said earlier that there is a flex room. So depending if you would plan to use that as a study, then you can go ahead and use this as a children's retreat or something like that. And I always talk about that. Now straight ahead is going to be the flex room, but this would be your game room or bonus room right over here. So vaulted ceilings inside of here, extremely spacious. That's a half bath right over there to the left. So our second half bath. You got your sconces right over here. And I'll do a full scan of the home or the room itself. So extremely spacious. You can fit a pool table and some chairs up here, a ping pong table. You can fit a lot of things up here inside of this room alone. You got the pocket door separating the half bath. Now this one's neat because downstairs you saw the reeded pattern. This is gonna have that more of that fluted pattern on that floating vanity right there. And then this one's gonna have double pocket doors. And then you're gonna have a second laundry room up here. Like I said, this is our flex room over here. So you can see about the same size as the one that we've seen on the first level. And to be honest with you, especially if you are a large family or you have a ton of family, that live around or close by, is really gonna dictate on what you use a lot of this space for. Our second utility room is extremely spacious, as you can see. Look at that. Okay, now our additional 3 bedrooms are down this hallway. So before we continue, you have these little bump outs, little recessed areas over here. Both of them have benches. So I don't know if you want to just hang out there, play hide and seek. That'd be a perfect spot to hide right there. So the dimensions in here, I'll certainly try to find those and add those to the screen. So that way for your reference, without furniture in here, it's always nice to know and you can get a tape measure yourself. But you do have tall baseboards that continues up here. Not as tall as the ones on the first level, but still add some nice character to the home. Now this is the shower tub combo. You got your pendant light hanging down right above your vanity, the herringbone pattern, shower surround inside of here. Then you have a shower niche. And then this one's gonna have a pretty spacious walk-in closet, to be honest with you, almost to the ceiling as far as the shelving is concerned. But the white oak floors continues here, like I said earlier, 0 carpet inside of here. Now also, that little bonus room that we had seen, you could certainly use that as a media room. And then the one in the basement, more of a game room or something like that. Or, if you can convince your partner, maybe a man cave or a woman cave, decorate it how you want to. You don't have to really worry about any input. You do whatever you please. Now here you have LED lights, so that's going to illuminate. It's right now it's about 5, 6 o'clock or so. But at nighttime, this room would be lit up. But even with it being, complete daytime, the sunlight out, you still have an abundance of light. Okay, shower tub combo in here, of course. Quartz countertops. You see that shiplap material, it looks like, as far as the cabinet door is concerned. And then our pendant lights right above there. So this is our 4th bedroom, as you can see. Similar walk-in closet as the one we had just seen. And this will come full circle because if you look at the front of the house, you saw these little bump outs on the top. So it really was a nice feature as well, but this just kind of comes full circle. You see where that led to. Now you have a additional storage right over here, 2 tankless water heaters, as you can see. Your built-in shelving. And then this will be your 5th and final bedroom. So you got a pocket door again. I'm noticing a lot of the pocket doors. You know, I had gotten a comment. It was almost like every other video, I tell you, when there wasn't pocket doors, and I know they were upset that, that the pocket doors weren't being added in some of these luxury homes, but now I'm starting to see them a little bit more. I just think, you know, and I can see where they would come from, or where they're coming from, talking about the pocket doors, because it's really discreet, it's out of the way, especially if you're not, you know, opening and closing that closet door. You just go ahead and tuck that away and then keep it open at almost all times. So the other 2 were shower tub combos, and then our last but not least is a full walk-in shower. This one has that 0 threshold as well. Got that champagne bronze, massive shower niche in here. And then the tile flooring, and then our beautiful vanity. Again, the quartz countertops, the shaker style, white oak cabinetry, pendant light, massive circular mirror with the gold mirror frame. Okay, so we've seen the entire 2nd level, the entire 1st level, and we have the good fortune to see the basement. If you haven't, let me know what you thought about the fitness studio and the cold plunge tub, and of course the infrared sauna. And let me know if you've been in one and what have the benefits been, you know what I mean? Sometimes, especially if you go on Google or you look for advice in there, they tell you what it could or could not do for you, but it's always best to hear someone's personal experience if they've dealt with any benefits. Before we continue, you see our arched doorway right over there. Now let's go ahead and take a look out here. I can appreciate the sunroom as well. You know, other places we've seen the 3 seasons room, but you know, a nice sunroom where you get air conditioning and ventilation is always a plus. Let's open up this door for you. So this one's going to be a Pella door, or Pella sliders. Now heading back out here again, like I mentioned earlier, that is a motorized pergola right there. So you can just go ahead and open that completely up, have your fun in the sun. You see your dining area over here. Continue this way, you see our stucco continues. This one's completely iron fence, is elevated as well. So you still have that privacy. And look at our pool and spa. So just under an acre. Really, whenever you see the front yard, you can see all the space that you get. And then of course, it even continues a little bit more over there. But if you have kiddos, you know, plenty of space to work with as far as that is concerned. I know some folks, you know, typically add maybe a tree swing or something like that. So you could do that in the front, but you still have additional space out here. But this is going to be perfect to entertain, have your entire family out here having a great time. You open up those sliders. This will certainly be a blessing. But other than that, family, that was another beautiful luxury home tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful luxury home right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this particular property. Is this something you could see yourself living in? Would you take advantage of the fitness studio? If so, let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour.